Hello, welcome to our unique learning system math lesson. My name is Charlotte Lucas. I am an autism low incidence mentor teacher with Richmond Public Schools, and I'm delighted to be able to work with you today. Our math lesson today is algebra, multiplication expressions. We will be writing and simplifying multiplication expressions. We have a lot of work to do, so let's get to work. All right. Our task today is to write and simplify a multiplication expression. And what I would like to do, first of all, I would like to talk a little bit about what is multiplication. Now, I'm sure that most of you have already um, worked with multiplication and learned your multiplication facts, and that is fabulous. Let's see if I can try and explain it to you by using this word problem. Bruce Jr., Randy, Lonnie, and Cherie went to the supermarket with their mom. They each found 3 snacks and put them into the grocery cart. How many snacks altogether did mom find in the grocery cart at checkout? Now, that would be the word problem. Let's see how we can break it into parts and solve the word problem. First of all, we know we have 4 children, Brandon, Bruce, Lonnie, and Cherie. They each went into the grocery store and they each found 3 snacks each. Now, there are a couple of ways that we could solve this. First of all, if you wanted to know how many snacks they have altogether, all you would have to do is add 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. You would add 3 together 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you will get the answer. Let's see if we can do that on our calculator. If I add, well, here's the calculator. First of all, let's clear it out because there's a number on the screen. Always clear first. And if we added 3, 1 time, 3, 2 times, 3, 3 times, 3, 4 times, and it will equal 12. I doubled it up. So the answer would be 12. So let's do that again because I want to make sure that we see it correctly. I hit the equal sign twice, so that wasn't a good idea. Let's do it again. 3 1 time, 3 2 times, 3 3 times, 3 4 times. And the answer would be 12. Now, that is one way to solve the problem. But if we were to use multiplication would be like using a shortcut. Multiplication is taking the 4 3s that you had to add together and turning it into a statement that says 4 3 times. You're really saying add 4 together 3 times. 4 times 3. We know that the answer would be 12. We just added that on our calculator. But what we're finding out is that multiplication is repeated addition. And when you use the multiplication expression, you're simply using a shortcut. It makes it a lot easier. So let me create another multiplication problem for you. Mrs. Lucas has 6 boxes of crayons in her supply closet. Each box of crayon holds 8 crayons. How many crayons does Mrs. Lucas have altogether? Now, if I were to create that multiplication problem, I could add 8 together 6 times. 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. That would be the addition problem. Let's see if we can do that. Let's use our calculator. And we would have to add 8 together 6 times. And I will clear out the calculator and let's do it. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. The total would be 48. Well, if I had used a multiplication problem, all I would have to put on my calculator would be the 6 boxes of crayon. Each box has 8 crayons. It would be 6 times 8. Let's clear out our calculator and let's do that. 6 times 8. Hit the equal sign and we get 48. So multiplication is repeat addition, and it's just a shortcut to solving your problem. It's a wonderful strategy. So now let's go back to our problem. Let's go back to the expression that we're going to create. So the idea is that within algebra, the the expression starts with alphabets, which are substitutes for the numbers. In algebra, you use alphabets to substitute the numbers so you can get a formula. We want to create the formula. So if I use that same problem where the children went to the store, let's break it into parts and create our formula. So the parts would be A, B, and C. On Monday, 4 children went to the supermarket with their mom. That's part A. And that would be here. The second part of it is they each found B snacks. Well, we don't know what B is yet. We're going to have that as our variable of the unknown and put them into the grocery cart. How many snacks altogether did the mom find in the grocery chart at checkout? So that would be the solution. In multiplication, excuse me, we can always write our solutions once we put our equal sign, and that's fine. But we're not looking for the solution right now. What we're trying to do is create the expression. So we have our expression. It would be A times B, and we know that the C would be the solution, but we're not using that right now. So now we must substitute in the problem. What would we substitute? A would be, in this problem, A would be 4. So 4, we would substitute 4 there, times, and what is B in this expression? Well, we know that they each found how many snacks. We know when we read the word problem, we know that they each found 3 snacks. And that is our expression, A times B. And when we substitute the numbers, we know that A is 4 and B is 3. That is how you create an expression, and then you work to solve it. So let's go back to our practice session, our practice examples for today. It says to write in the expression, we're going to be using this graphic organizer, and we'll use that to simplify our equations. I love graphic organizers. All right, this is the word problem. This is the graphic organizer. Let's see if we can solve it. Randy is bringing water squirters to the water games for midday field day. So we're breaking it into parts. We're breaking the word problem into parts. And the first part of it, A, says he will bring A water squirters to each water game. We don't know what A is yet. They haven't given that information to us. The B part of it says there are 4 water games. Well, we do know what B is. And then write an expression. Remember, the A times the B is the expression. Write an expression for the number of squirters he brings to the water games all together. So if we write the expression would be what? A times B. That's correct. So we've got the expression. Now we substitute the numbers for the alphabets. Let's see if we're able to do that. A says that we don't know the number yet. So we have to put A in the first part of the expression. That is the unknown. We're going to use that first, and we put our multiplication sign in, and B, there are 4 water games. So we are able to substitute the number 4 for B because we already know what that is. So that's the first part of the expression. We've put in everything that we know. We've written the expression A times B, and we have also substituted the numbers for the expression when we know it. So let's go and see if we can find out what the A number would be. Okay, so now he brings 4 water squirters to each game. How many water squirters does he bring to the games altogether? Well, we just found out that A will equal 4. He brings 4 water squirters. So we're able to substitute. Now we can put 4 for A. Still, we're using multiplication. And we knew that B was what? That's right. B was 4. We already knew that. So we've completed our expression. A times B. A is 4 times B, which is 4. We've made the substitutions. And now we need to find out what would be the answer. All right. So let's use our calculator. You know, I don't always use calculators to solve the problems, but we know that everyone now should know how to use a calculator, and it is a good skill to have. In addition to that, being able to use the calculator will help you out lots of times. So we know if we're using a calculator, first thing that we want to do is clear out our screen. Now, if we were using multiplication, it would be 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. That's the long way. We're using the shortcut, 4 times 4. And if we put that in our calculator, 4 times 4, and we hit the equals, we get 16. So he brings, excuse me, how many water squirters does he bring to the games altogether? He brings 16 water squirters all together. When you're doing a multiplication problem or multiplication expression, you want to think about that box of crayons. If you can say how many boxes and how many in each box, that will let you know that you're doing a multiplication problem. Just a little something that we can use as a strategy. All right, so let's go to the next problem. Let's use this word problem and see if we'll be able to solve it. I think you can do it. And another thing that I would like for you to do, uh, think about a multiplication word problem yourself. Think of one that you can use, and you can ask your parents to help you to figure it out. That would be very interesting, wouldn't it? You can create your own word problems. I created my own, and the problem that I read to you was here. This was a word problem that I made up myself. And the children, their names are my children's names. So I made up my own word problem and then I solved it. So you can do the same thing. Just think about the crayons. How many boxes, how many in each box? Think of that and create a word problem. All right, let's use this word problem. It says Ryan is bringing balls to the bowling games for midway field day. Now, the parts of the expression are A, he brings 6 balls to each bowling game. The B part is there are B bowling games. So in this, there are B bowling games. We don't know what B is, do we? In this expression. So we have our alphabets and then we substitute numbers. So it says write an expression for the number of balls he brings to the bowling games all together. So we have to write the expression. We know that if he has 6 balls to each bowling game, how many bowling games are there? We're solving for B. This time we're not solving for B. We are trying to find out what is the B that is missing. So the expression would be A times B. That will give us the answer. Now, if we substitute the numbers for the alphabets. In A, what is the number? 6. Very nice. Now, we know we have to bring in our multiplication sign. So let's put that in. And then in this expression so far, we don't know what B is, do we? We don't, in the B part of it, the problem was broken into 3 parts: A part, B part, and the part that is the answer. In the B part, we don't have a number. We're going to use the variable. The variable is the alphabet, it's the unknown. Right now, we don't know what B is, so we have to put B there. 6 times B, because we don't know what B is yet. There are how many bowling games? Well, let's see if we can get that information. There are 7 bowling games. So now we know what B is. We needed to find out how many bowling games there were. How many balls does he bring to the bowling games all together? So now we're able to complete our expression. A is 6. Very good. We bring our multiplication sign over. And then we know that now that B is what? B is 7. Very nice. Excellent. Now, how would this expression look if we were using repeated addition? It would be add 6 7 times. 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. 6 7 times. That's a lot of adding to do. This multiplication makes it simpler. It's a shortcut. Instead of writing 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, we can write 6 times how many? 7. All right, let's see if we can use our calculator to get the answer. So we look at our calculator and there's a number in the screen. We have to clear out our calculator. I hit both clear buttons. That's just me, okay? And we key in 6 times 7. Here we have 6 times 7 and hit the equal button and we get what? 42. Now, let's use the calculator to see if we added 6 7 times, would we also get 42 if we use repeated addition? Let's try it. First, we're looking at our calculator. Let's clear it out. And we're going to put 6 in 7 times. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hit the equal sign, and we get 42. So if we add 6 plus 6 plus 6, the repeated addition, our answer is 42. But if we put 6 times 7, we also get 42. And that is the shortcut. Now, I was talking to you earlier about creating your own multiplication word problem and writing the expression and solving it all by yourself. And you can use a calculator if you like. Tell your parents that you want to create a math problem. For instance, you could say, there are 5 bicycles at my house. How many wheels, and there are 2 wheels on each bicycle. How many wheels are there altogether? See how quickly I did that? You can create a word problem. There are, how many bicycles did I say? I don't even remember. There are 6 bicycles at my house. So it would be 6 times 2 because each bicycle has 2 wheels. How many wheels altogether? And you will be able to find that out using your calculator. Now, what you want to do is you want to go and create your word problem and ask your parents how they feel about it if it seems correct. Then write your expression, which would be A times B. After you write your expression, substitute the numbers for the alphabets. You break your word problem into parts. A, there are 6 bikes. B, each bike has 12. Each bike has 2 wheels. And the answer would be how many wheels altogether. Write that out, create your expression, and then solve your problem. Remember, multiplication is repeat addition. You can actually uh, use addition and write 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 6 times if we're solving that bike problem that that I made up. Or you can use the shortcut, which is multiplication, which is what I need you to do. Use multiplication and solve your problem and see if you get it each time. Well, we've had a great time today. You've done a lot of work. I'm very proud of you. I hope to see you next time. Be good. Bye bye now.
Hello, my name is Ms. Epps, and I'm coming to you today with another video lesson. And our video lesson is going to be on a book entitled Making Choices at the Gift Shop. Making Choices at the Gift Shop. Okay? And as always, before we begin our lesson, we always have to go over what? The lesson objective and the materials that you're going to need. Okay, and as you can see here, we have a picture of a gift shop. All right, so it says here, this is our lesson objective here, and it says, I will remember what the Kinder family chooses to buy at the gift shop. I will remember what the Kinder family chooses to buy at the gift shop. What are the materials that you're going to need? Paper, pencil, and a copy of today's story. Okay, and a copy of today's story is right under the video lesson. There's a link to the copy of today's story, and if I add any other additional materials, they will be there as well. Okay, so we have to remember what the Kinder family is going to buy at the gift shop. Okay, so I want you to be thinking about that as we go through our lesson today. Before we begin our story, you always know what we're going to do. We're going to go over those topic words first because I want you to be able to focus in on these words as we read the story. So what I want you to do is get your pencil and I want you to underline the words in the story. You can do this after we have finished reading the story. You can also use a highlighter to highlight the words, because a good thing to do is to be able to define your words using the story, okay? And then you can go and get a dictionary and compare your definitions to the definitions you find in the dictionary. You can also put these words in alphabetical order. And hey, here's another great thing you can do. You can draw a picture of the words. Let's say if you choose the word scared, okay, and you could possibly draw a picture of something that looks scared, right? That can help you to remember the words. So that's a good thing to do too. These are all additional activities you can do once we finish reading the story, okay? All right, so let's go over the words. I want you to repeat the words after me. And don't forget to be on the lookout for them, okay? Our first word is choose, fun, scared, move, turn, up, down, fast, slow, around, gravity, spin, okay? Now, also too, you can start like a vocabulary journal with these words. Like you can get a notebook and put all of your words that you have learned from all of the wonderful lessons that have been taught to you and put them all in a book. And you can go back at any time and make sentences with those words. And your parent can help you make sentences, okay? All right, so that's another good activity you can do as well, okay? All right, so what we want to do before we start reading our story, we want to do an activity. And let's just take a look at our book cover here, okay? We know the title of our story is called Making Choices at the Gift Shop, all right? So it says, what is the title of this chapter? So what is the title of this chapter? Did you say Making Choices at the Gift Shop? Because if you did, you were correct, okay? All right. Making Choices at the Gift Shop. All right. What do you think this chapter will be about? Okay. I think, okay, it will be about buying things at a gift shop. Okay, could be. We have to read and find out, right? Okay, so here we are. This is a chapter book. What kind of chapter book is this? Is it a fiction book or a nonfiction book? Now, I want you to think about these two types of books, okay? Now, fiction book is what kind of book? Did you say it's a make-believe book or an imaginary book, a book that's not real? That's correct, if you did, okay? What kind of book is a nonfiction book? Did you say it's a book that's based on actual facts or something that is true that really happened? Okay? If you did, you are correct. Most nonfiction books include charts, they include graphs, they have bold words in books that are nonfiction, and you can open that book anywhere and start reading. With a fiction book, you cannot do that. You have to start at the beginning. So let's take a look at our book, okay? And let's just walk through the pages. Now we see here that we have illustrations. Fiction books have illustrations in them, okay? All right, and we see another illustration. So this must be a what kind of book? A fiction book, okay? All right, what is the chapter topic? Is it biography, social studies, or science? What do you think? Now it's all about buying things, right? Now, do we learn about buying things in science? So we know that it's not science. Is this book about one person? Because a biography is usually about one person. So if we go back over here and we look, we see one person here, but we see another person here. So it's not about just one person. So this must be a book that's centered around social studies, because in social studies we learn about buying things. All right. So it says here, compare this book to a chapter book that has been recently read. So when we compare things, what do? We talk about the similarity and the differences of things when we're comparing them, right? Okay. So I'm going to think about a book that I have recently read to give you an example. And then I want you can take the time on your notebook paper or you're in your notebook or notepad or whatever you have that's handy, and think about a book that you've recently read, okay? And then what you can possibly do is compare it to this book that we're going to read. Although we haven't read it, but we have looked at the book cover, okay? All right, so I read a book about DNA in plants, okay? This book is about buying, and it won't let me type any further, okay? But This book is about buying things in a gift shop. Well, that's the difference. One book is about buying things, but the other book was about DNA and plants. Two different topics. Now, so that's what you're doing when you're comparing. Okay? All right. So now let's move on. It says, what kind of book would you choose? A picture book, a chapter book, a comic book, or a book with facts? Well, in this case, I would choose a chapter book because I like chapter books. Okay? Now you pick what you like. All right? So let's move on. Let's get ready to read our story. Now I want you to listen carefully because you will be answering some questions at the end of the story. Okay? And let's begin. All right, so the Kinder family starts walking to the gift shop. Each of us chose something different to do at the amusement park, says Mr. Kinder. People can choose different activities. Some activities may be fun for you. They might make someone else scared. People can like different things. Okay? So let's just take a look at our focus question at the bottom here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. It says, describe why people might choose to do different activities at the amusement park. So we know when we describe something, what do? We tell how it looks, how it feels. We're making a description. And now it says, describe why people choose different things. Okay? So if we can see right here, it says they might make someone else scared. People like different things. So people can choose different activities to do. Some might be fun for you and some might make some other people scared. Okay? So you see that? So that's the answer right there to those questions, okay? To that statement at the bottom there. All right. Move me right here. I went on the water slide, says Gwen. I thought it was fun. Jen liked the Ferris wheel, but I was scared riding the Ferris wheel. I didn't like being so high up in the air. I will go on a water slide again. I will not ride a Ferris wheel again. Okay, let's see what our focus question says. And it says here, how does Gwen feel on the water slide? How does she feel on the Ferris wheel? So we have to go to the part of the sentence that talks about the water slide and the Ferris wheel. Okay, so here's Gwen, and she says, I thought it was fun. So now, Gwen says she went on the water slide. So how does she feel about the water slide? She said, I thought it was fun. How does she feel about the Ferris wheel? Now, here's Gwen right here. She says that Jen liked the Ferris wheel. Now, then Gwen makes a comment. She says, but I was scared riding the Ferris wheel. So now we see that Gwen said she thought it was fun to ride the water slide, but she was what? She was scared to ride the Ferris wheel. Okay? So when you're answering these type of questions, you have to be very careful to make sure that the right character is speaking. Okay? And that you're answering the question correctly. All right. All right, I have another statement to make about this page. Now we know that Gwen feels scared, and then people can choose different activities when they go to an amusement park. Not everyone will like the same thing, okay? And that's very true, all right? All right. Now, I rode on the roller coaster, says Ben. It was fun. Gwen liked the water slide, but I was scared when I rode the water slide. I didn't like moving down the water slide so fast. I will ride a roller coaster again. I will not go on a water slide again. Okay? So let's see what our focus question says here at the bottom. Now, how did Ben feel on the roller coaster? How did he feel? And it says, how does he feel on the water slide? So we're looking for, whenever you're answering a question, you're looking for that keyword. You're looking for Ben and how he felt. So here's Ben. Now, what ride did he ride on? He says, I rode on what? The roller coaster. And how did he feel about it? He said it was fun. Now, we see here that Gwen liked the water slide. He says, but I was scared when I rode the water slide. Who's talking? Ben. So how does he feel about the roller coaster? He said it was fun. How did he feel about the water slide? He said he was what? He was scared. All right. Now, if we think about our previous page, page 50 here, Ben enjoyed riding a different ride than Gwen, right? Okay. Now, if we move on, we're going to move on to our next page, okay? So let's go to our next page. We're going to have another comment I want to make about this. But that's true in any case. Whenever you go to a place like this, there are so many rides. There are so many rides. I can remember going to Kings Dominion at one time. It was so many rides there. No, it was Disney World. And it's just so many rides, and everybody's not going to like the same rides. Okay? All right. So now the Kinder family arrives at the gift shop. They see different kinds of souvenirs to buy. There are colorful t-shirts, keychains, and magnets. Now it's time for everyone to choose a souvenir to buy, says Mrs. Kinder. Souvenirs can help us remember what we did on our trip. So now they're at the gift shop. So now let's think about our objective, right? What was our objective? I will remember what the Kinder family chooses to buy at the gift shop. Okay? All right. So let's make our focus statement here a little bit bigger at the bottom so we can see what it wants us to do. It says, why will the Kinders buy souvenirs at the gift shop? Now, did you say souvenirs can help us remember what we did on our trip? And that's very true. Every time I go on a trip, I always look for a refrigerator magnet because I love refrigerator magnet. It's my way of remembering where I went and what I did. They are so fun, okay? And I'll even ask family members and friends if they're going to a place that I have never gone to, bring me a magnet back because it helps me to learn about a new place and it adds to my collection. I love it. Okay. All right, so let's go on. It says, pick a souvenir to help you remember what you like doing today, says Mrs. Kinder. I choose a t-shirt, says Gwen. I remember how the water rides move. I move fast down the water slide. I move slowly floating on a tube in the water. Okay? So let's make it a little bit bigger. And it says here, what will Gwen remember about how she moved on the water rides? What will she remember? What did she say? She says, here's the section that talks about the water rides. And she says, I will remember I moved how fast down the water slide. I move slowly, floating on a tube in the water. Okay? If you said that, you were correct. Okay, I choose a roller coaster keychain, says Ben. It will help me remember how roller coasters move. They move slow up hills. They move fast down hills. Roller coasters turn and go around loops. Gravity helps roller coasters move. Okay, so let's see what our focus statement or question says. It says, what will Ben remember about how roller coasters moved? How did they move? What did he say? He says they move what? Fast down hills. What do? They turn and go around in loops. Okay? If you said something like that, you were correct. We're answering a lot of questions, aren't we? And I know you're doing a great job. Okay. So it says here, I choose a Ferris wheel magnet, says Jen. I want to remember how the Ferris wheel spins around in a circle. You slowly move up until you get to the top. Then you slowly move back down to the ground. Those are great souvenirs, says Mrs. Kinder. She pays for the items. Okay, let's see what our focus question says. What would Jim remember about how the Ferris wheel moved? How did it move? Okay, how did it move? She says, you move slowly up, right? See, she's talking about the Ferris wheel. There it is. She said you move slowly up and then you move slowly back down to the ground. Okay? Okay, we learned a lot today, says Mr. Kinder. People can choose different activities to do. People and things move at the amusement park. Yes, there's a lot of movement, right? They move fast and slow. They move up, down, and spin around. Objects can move back and forth or straight. Now, let's go home. I'm tired. All right. Okay, let's see what that focus question says at the bottom. And it says, what was your favorite activity that the Kinder family did in this book? What was your favorite activity? And then you tell why. Okay, so I'm going to pick one. Oh, let me move back. Let me move back. Okay. And you know, I guess the favorite activity that I like was the fact that, this store was all centered around them making choices at the gift shop. And if you have ever been at a gift shop, it is a wonderful place to go because you can see so many things that you won't see anywhere else. You see a lot of unique things, okay? So I guess my favorite part of the store was the actual part of them going to the souvenir shop. But you may have liked the way they remembered their trip and what they did. That's excellent too if you chose that as well. Or you may have come up with something totally different, okay? But make sure it relates to our story, okay? All right, so let's get ready to put our thinking caps on because we're going to get ready to answer some questions, okay? Let's get our story back to the beginning. Okay, so the first activity we're going to do is a fill-in activity. And whenever you're doing a fill in the blank activity, you always want to remember that whatever word you put in the blank, it has to make sense. And here's our blank right here, okay? So you want to make sure that whatever word you put here, it makes sense in the sentence, okay? It may fit there, but does it make sense? That's the important thing to remember. So what you're going to do whenever we are working with questions, even if I don't tell you this, I always want you to make a choice because you can always pause the screen and say, Mom or Dad, or whoever's sitting with you, I need to make a choice in case if I forget to tell you, okay? All right, so let's read our first statement here. It says, people can blank different things. Down, spinning, amusement park, roller coaster, like. Make a choice, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our story to help us find the answer. And we see here that we see the Kenneth family, they start walking to the gift shop, right? And we see right here that people can do what? Like different things, okay? So our key word to look for was people, because that's what our one of our that was one of our focus words in the question. So we're going to put like there, okay? Number 2 says Gwen liked moving fast. Blank the water slides. Let's see what our choices are. Down, spinning, amusement park, roller coaster, like. Make a choice. We're looking for the part that talks about Gwen and what she liked doing. Here's Gwen, and what did she like doing? She liked the water slide. How does it move? Down, okay? Okay, so now Ben liked the turns and loops on the spinning, amusement park, roller coaster, like. Make a choice. We know that if you look and see at my arrow, you see that we're going to the part of the story that talks about who? Ben, and what he liked. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So here we have Ben, okay, and what did he choose? He chose the what? The roller coaster. Okay? Did you make that decision? If you did, you were correct. All right, so Jen liked something here, and that's our blank, and a circle on the Ferris wheel. Let's see what our choices are. Down, spinning, amusement park, roller coaster, like. Make a choice. Now don't forget, we have to go to the part of the store that talks about who, Jen, and what she liked. Okay? So let's do that. Now here we find Jen, and what did she like? She says here, she says, I will remember how the Ferris wheel does what? Spins. Okay? So Jen likes spinning in a circle on the Ferris wheel. Okay. All right. Number 5 says people and objects move at the down, amusement park, roller coaster, like. Make a choice. So once again, we're going to go back to our story, right? And we talk about it right here. And it says people and things move at the what? Amusement park. Because that was our, here's our choice right here. All right. I have enjoyed being with you today. I hope that you have fun learning about how people make choices and the importance of going to a gift shop. If you are able to go away and take some time to visit a new place, at some point we will when it's safer to do so. But the main thing I want you to remember today is whenever you are answering your questions, please do not forget to look for the keywords in the question, okay? And go to that section in your story, okay, to help you find the answer. All right. Don't forget all the suggestions I made about different activities you can do when we actually finish our lesson. Don't forget to do those. I don't want you to not remember those words. Okay. So don't forget to look up those words or circle them in the story or put them in alphabetical order or put them in a sentence. There's so many things you can do. I've enjoyed being with you today. I want you to stay happy, stay healthy. And I'll see you again in the next video lesson.